What is economics? As this course may be a first encounter with economics for some of you, let us start with a couple of definitions. The word economics has its origin in Greek, where oiko and nomos mean house and law respectively. Probably the most used definition of economics is given by Lionel Robbins. Economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. From this definition by Robbins, it is only a small step to introduce the concept of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refer to the lost benefits of the best alternative use of scarce means. One can think of scarce means such as natural resources, labor, or capital. All resource use has opportunity cost, and similarly, non-use has the opportunity cost of the foregone benefits of the most profitable exploitation. The definition by Robbins, although useful, is fairly broad. A definition that may come closer to a common understanding of what economics is provided by Kenneth Boulding. Economics specializes in the study of that part of the total social system which is organized through exchange and which deals with exchangeables. This, to my mind, is a better definition of economics than those which define it as relating to scarcity or allocation. For the allocation of scarce resources is a universal problem which applies to political decisions and political structures through coercion, threat, and even to love and community, just as it does to exchange. Yet the definition by Boulding may be too restrictive. For example, exchange often affects unexchangeables. Moreover, economics has broadened tremendously since Boulding's definition, with work on the role of identity in economics or the interplay between social norms and monetary incentives. An even broader definition of economics comes from Paul Krugman. What we know as economics is the study of those phenomena that can be understood as emerging from the interactions between intelligent, self-interested individuals. This definition shows the integration of game theory in economics, where game theory refers to mathematical models of strategic interactions between agents. One can easily argue that even this broad definition is too narrow, because the focus on selfish and rational individuals is both unnecessary and unwarranted. Behavioral economics convincingly documented flaws to these assumptions of rationality and selfishness underlying the Homo economicus and made great progress in integrating biases and other regarding preferences into game theoretic models. A useful starting point for a better understanding of the economic literature on biodiversity conservation is distinguishing environmental economics from ecological economics. Environmental economics has its roots in neoclassical economics and concerns itself mostly with relative scarcity. Ecological economics, on the other hand, underlines the importance of absolute scarcity and has its conceptual roots in system dynamics, which studies complex interactions between various stocks and flows. Boulding can be accredited with the most powerful metaphor used to distinguish these schools of thought. For the sake of picturesqueness, I am tempted to call the open economy, or environmental economics, the cowboy economy. The cowboy being symbolic of the illimitable plains and also associated with reckless, exploitative, romantic, and violent behavior, which is so characteristic of open societies. The closed economy of the future, or ecological economics, might similarly be called the spaceman economy, in which the Earth has become a single spaceship without unlimited reservoirs of anything, either for extraction or for pollution, and in which, therefore, man must find his place in a cyclical ecological system which is capable of continuous reproduction of material form, even though it cannot escape having inputs of energy. The difference between the two types of economy becomes most apparent in the attitude towards consumption. In the cowboy economy, consumption is regarded as a good thing, and production likewise. And the success of the economy is measured by the amount of the throughput. Read gross domestic product, GDP. GDP refers to the value of a country's traded production and services. Although politicians still largely focus efforts on maximizing GDP, there is increasing debate over the desirability of GDP growth as a policy objective. The limitations of GDP are famously worded by Robert Kennedy, who pointed out that the profits from arms manufacturers, cigarettes advertisement, and exploitation of natural resources add to GDP. And GDP does not capture the quality of healthcare and education, happiness, nor the intelligence of our public debate or integrity of public officials. It measures in everything in short except that makes life worthwhile. In the same speech, Kennedy lamented that too much and for too long we have seemed to have surrendered personal excellence and community values in the mere accumulation of material things. By contrast, in the spaceman economy, throughput is by no means a desideratum and is indeed to be regarded as something to be minimized rather than maximized. The essential measure of the success of the economy is not production and consumption at all, but the nature, extent, quality, and complexity of the total capital stock, including in this the state of the human bodies and minds included in the system.